is something I try to get to all people. When we ourselves can really look. See, we don't want salvation, bro. We don't. You can go to Africa and you're not going to have salvation in Africa.
That's right.
Because the people in Africa ain't ready for it.
That's right.
Just like our people ain't ready for it. But honestly, it's not that our people are not ready for it. The truth, you want the truth of what I see? We don't have no leader, brother. We don't have nobody that the people trust. And you got to have a leader who can touch the hearts of the people. We don't have no leader that can touch the hearts of the people. And the one who could, they're old now and they can't do much.
That's right.
You know, all they can do is be advisors. They don't have the power to move the mountains because the mountains that they need to move is the young mountains.
That's right.
And you got to have a lot of power to move them mountains because they're set in some of their ways.
That's right.
But until we can get a leader, and when I say a leader, I'm not talking about a leader just here in America. It has to be one leader for all those that are of a dark-skinned race.
That's right.
One leader. That leader has to be capable of showing the greatness, the power that is within that nation. And he has to do what Shaka Zulu did.
That's right.
He's got to go around from nation, from city to city, state to state, look, country to country, gathering his people. And all those that don't want to be a part of it, you're going to have to get rid of them. It ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You can't have them to come along if they're not willing to be a part because they're not going to be faithful.
Yeah.
They're not going to be trustworthy enough. You know. I mean, first of all, we don't even have leaders in our cities that we can trust, bro. We don't have leaders in the city who can touch the hearts of the people. Where are the black leaders in the cities, right here in America, that can touch the heart of the people?
Daddy.
What?
That's right. That's right.
You know, so that's number one, because he has to be able to touch the hearts of the people to an extent that he has to be able to let them see and feel his power. He has to be an example and be able to give the people his vision. They have to be able to see and feel his vision, which will give them the strength and the power to move forward.
That's right.
We don't have that leader. We don't even have our people looking for that type of leader. Let me explain something to you. Right now it's time for people to go vote. And,
really?
And everybody is telling the people to go vote. All the leaders are telling the people, the leaders of the blacks, the different organizations and stuff, telling the people you need to go vote. Because if we don't vote, we can't expect for nothing to change. And they got the people all hyped up. People running and voting, feeling like something's going to change. We've been doing this too many years to keep falling for the same thing over and over.
That's right. You're right.
First of all, voting ain't going to change nothing.
That's right.
The same people running it. We don't even want to look and see that America is ran by England. Canada is ran by England. all these countries are part of just one collaboration of Europeans. And until we can wake up and see that and push fear aside and be willing to stand as a people, that means we must invest in one another. We must create our own. We got to get rid of the fear that we can't do without our slave master. We got to wake up and realize that we have to have one nation, and we have to start off. We need a country. The only country is Africa. If all the warriors in Africa and around the globe, the black warriors, will unite as one, one army, that beast can't do nothing because we're everywhere.
That's right.
But they're not there to go fight the beast. They're there to protect the people as we start to create and build and take charge of Mother Africa. Because once we take charge of Mother Africa, we have control over everything. Listen, it's no reason that we don't have the riches of Africa with all the gold and the diamond and everything else that's coming up out of there.
That's right.
No other nation should be getting that. The monies from that.
That's
the
right.
revenue from that. No other people. But until we listen, Shaka Zulu was smart because he united damn near all of South Africa.
That's right.
And it was more than they could number. His only mistake was letting the European come in and wanting to have some of the things that the European that he thought was better than him. And he wanted it. You know, if you really watch closely, and the ancestors told him, the witches and all that told him, you going against what the prophets published. We not to want they things.
That's right.
They things are nothing to us. They things are 777. We don't need that. Nobody was listening. Shaka Zulu sure wasn't. He said, I got to have it.
Well, yeah. And that's how they tricked him with that mirror. Once he seen that mirror and seen the reflection of his own face, his whole mindset changed.
His whole mindset began to change from the greed of wanting.
Yeah.
Right at the beginning, when they first come in among him, and the one guy saved a woman. He saved a woman because she wasn't dead, and all he did was comfort her, put towels and stuff on her, cool stuff, to cool her temperature down because she had a high fever.
Right.
Once the fever left, she was okay. But people not knowing back then thought she was dying and dead, and she wasn't dead. She was steady moving. The doctor knew she was.
That's right.
So after that, he wanted that power. What power?
Yeah.
The witches tried to tell him, you already got the power. You control the heavens. What power do you want? We're the same way. We want everything that the Europeans have. We don't want to create our own. Now, when we get to talking about going back home, a lot of us will say we don't want to go back home. I don't want to go from Africa. I ain't from Africa. They don't like me over there in Africa. That's what they say. Africa, when you go over there, they say the same thing about us over here, and it's crazy. Because we're all one, we're all family. Originally, we are family. So we're fighting one another. We can't even unite so that we could be free. Now, okay, so we say, well, we want freedom, but we want our own right here in America. We should not have to leave America to have our own. No, you don't have to leave America to have what you would feel like your own. But you'll never have your own in America because this is another man's plantation. He's not going to give up his plantation to you.
No. He'll wipe everybody out first.
Yes.
And that's what he's trying to do now.
Even though we built it for him. We didn't build it for us. We built it for him. So we shouldn't even want it because it ain't ours. It wasn't built for us. We should be willing to walk away from it, but we don't want to.
That's right.
We're afraid to walk away. What we gonna do if we gonna walk away? How we gonna eat? How we gonna survive? We ain't got no farms. We ain't got nothing. How we gonna survive? Man, look. First of all, the first thing we need to do is come to an agreement that we need to be one people.
That's right.
Then we need to come to the second agreement that we need a new name for our people. A name that we chose and not a name that they chose. Because as long as we call ourselves Africans, we're still giving power to them. Because we're not Africans.
That's right.
We never were Africans. I prefer you call me an Ethiopian.
That's right.
You can call me a Hebrew, I don't care, but don't call me no African because I'm not an African. I only use that to touch my people, something that they could relate to. But I want them to understand they're not Africans. That name was given to them, so they have to give it back to the people who gave it to them in order to become free of it.
Shane.
Where's our leaders, man? Why is our leaders here not sitting down with our leaders in Africa and other countries? Why they not sitting at the round table talking about unification? And how and what they need to do to show the people that they're ready to unify as one people. And give the people a choice. Either you join and unite with us or you fight against us. That's it.
That's it.
There's no in between. But then who you gonna choose to be the head? Who can the people trust? We have become so corrupt-minded. We think so much like them that we don't even know how to be faithful to one another. Our leaders don't even know how to be faithful.
That's right.
So who's gonna do it? And it ain't gonna take somebody that's got a lot of money, that's rich and got power. He's not gonna do it. You got to bring somebody that don't have much, who know what it is to struggle and suffer so that he can be there for all the people. He can't be wanting a lot. He can't be wanting all the fancy stuff. What he should want, a true leader, what he should want is the freedom for his people. And after he get that, he should want to make sure that all his people are not in need. For nothing. He shouldn't even be thinking about wearing fancy apparel. He should be thinking about fulfilling the obligation to his people. His people are now his children. That's his kingdom. What man is not going to look out for his children, his kingdom, before he look out for another kingdom? Where's the leaders that think like this, bro? I don't care about them that's in City Hall and them. They don't mean nothing to me. Them are just them are puppets put there to keep the people. They're not there for us. They're not there for us. So where's our leaders that's standing up and being strong and telling the other leaders, look, either you're going to tell the truth to our people or you're going to get the hell on. Because we're going to tell our people the truth. I can sit and talk with any leader and listen to him for 10 minutes and tell you if he's real or not. If he's for us or not for us. Just by what comes from his mouth.
That's right.
And that's real. That's why I don't reach out to a lot of these leaders today. Because they're just talking. It's all about the paper. You can't tell me, yeah, we need money. But we don't need individual money.
That's right.
We need money to build. We need money to make sure that our people are secure and have the food and stuff that they need. We don't need all the fancy apparel and stuff. I don't care nothing about the clothes, because when the time comes for us to reconstruct and remove and rebuild an exodus away from here, we're not taking all these clothes that people want to wear. We're not taking all the stuff that the people want. We're leaving that shit behind.
That's right.
And we're going to start from scratch and build that shit all over again. So if people ain't willing to sacrifice and know that it's going to be a work, then they're not ready for the real movement. Revolution starts when we begin to make change. That's the beginning of revolution. Otherwise, it's just a word. Revolution is total change. It's total change. It's just like what the Christian books say, the Christian Bible say. A man must become new in all things.
That's right. Yeah, I say, amen.
All things. We trying to do it the ancestors' way, and the ancestors, they didn't want us to do it their way. They wanted us not to make their mistakes. They want us to do it the true way. And the only way not to make the mistake is that we learn that without our deep love for one another, like we're supposed to love ourselves, we will never have what we need. And that's real. I don't care what you say, bro.
You're right. You're right on time.
But who's teaching love for one another? We're not teaching love for one another because we're sending our kids to their school to be taught by them under their rules, how to obey their rules, how to live within their system according to their rules. So we're not the leaders for our children. We're not the leaders to our children. So when our children don't look up at us, don't get mad, because we've been pushing them to another since the day they come in the world. We've been sacrificing them in the fire because we're too afraid to teach our own. We're too afraid to stand up for ourselves and say no. Look, police come in our community and kill because we're not willing to stand up and patrol and protect our own community. We're afraid to. Where the strong man at? We talking about fighting him. No, fight your own that's doing wrong among your own. To correct the issues among your own. You don't need them to come in and judge us. We can judge ourselves, but how many of us are willing to do righteous judgment among us? How many of us are willing to put down their guns or fight one another and take up their guns to protect one another and become the law enforcement in our community? That way you could stand up and look the white man in his face and say, we don't need your protection. We have our own. We don't need your police force. You can continue to be a police, but not over here. Once you cross over into our territory, we have jurisdiction. We can't have jurisdiction because we're not a people, bruh. We're not a people. Every name we got is a name that they gave us. We are not a people. And we can't seem to understand that. And if you're not a people, you have no power. We're not a nation. We're supposed to be one nation with many different tribes. But we're not that. We are people that are divided against one another. No matter where we go, we divide ourselves. I can go over to Jamaica right now, and the first thing they say, you ain't no Jamaica. You could tell by the way he talk. We the same. We the same. That Jamaican don't make you or me. That was just a name to let you know where you was from and what you was a part of, but you still me. If I go to Africa, they say, oh no, he's not from Africa, he's from the States, he's from America. You couldn't trust him. No, I'm you. I'm not from America. I'm you. You know, I mean, until we can understand how connected we are, how much we need one another, and how much we got to step away from everything that holds us, that the European had put upon us, that holds us in his power. Everything. We don't even want to give up his TV, and we know his TV and his news media is what really, his news media and his TV, man, that's what buying our kids right there. Just that alone. Well, we got to be able to let our kids know what's going on. No, you don't. Because some of the things that's going on in the European community, we don't need to know about. Our kids watch the movies that show them how to get money, but it shows them the only crooked ways of getting money because it shows them how to be selfish, how to kill their own and others to get what they want. What the hell we want our kids watching shit like that for? Everything in this government system, every business in this system is corrupt. I said every business in this system is corrupt. I'm going to say that one more time. Every business in this system is corrupt. And when I say that, I'm not talking about the little small mom and pop business. A couple of them, a few of them may not be corrupt. But there are a lot of them that are. You can always tell the corrupt ones.
That's right.
They stick around. They grow. The mom and pops ain't gonna grow. See, the mom and pops ain't corrupt. They're gonna try to help the community. They're trying to give back what the community is bringing in. But that corrupt one is steady growing and steady taking and ain't offering nothing. We don't see none of that, bro. We walk like we got blinders on. We walk like we got cotton or something stuck in our ears and we can't hear our people when they try to speak what we need to do. Listen, I ain't got much of nothing. For me to just give up everything wouldn't be much. But I'm willing to do that and start from scratch. If it's for real, and it's for the newness, and it's a oneness. Man, when the people exodus out of Egypt, bro, they had backpacks. They didn't have big old moving trucks. They only took what they needed. We can't seem to get that out of our head. We only need to take what we need And we need to go back home and stand as one people and build our community and build Mother Africa. We don't need no other place to live because Mother Africa is big enough for us to live there and still have plenty of room.
That's right.
And once we unite, all of Mother Africa will be united, which means all of Mother Africa will be given back, including the parts that they didn't split on the map.
Wow.
But we can't do nothing without our unification. And that's why they keep us so divided. We're at the end, bro. And if we don't unify now, those who don't, their end is right around the corner. It's coming.
That's right.
It's coming first. And those who do, they're going to survive if they got the right wisdom with them and they stand together no matter what. Sure, there's going to be casualties, but they're going to survive. It's written in the law. It's already written. It's written in the stars. It's already written. It's written in the stars. But ain't no savior coming down from heaven to save them.
You got that right. You better save yourself.
The only savior that's going to save them is them becoming one.
That's right.
And listening to what they need to listen to their own ways. They say they trust in the ancestors. They need to listen to the ancestors.
Yes, sir.
You know, ancestors tell them straight out. Unification. All our ancestors showed us what unity could do, but in the process, our ancestors were still divided too. They started selling us out, selling their own family members out because they wasn't like them. In other words, they didn't think like them or act like them. You know, so it's a lot to work on. Right now, I'm working on unification. I'm trying to unify everyone that want to be a part of the unification. A global unification where we become one people. That's why I started my creation of starting of founding the Kings and Queens of Africa. It's because it doesn't divide us. It can tell us. It can tell you who we are.
That's right.
We can all wear the same uniforms when we go out and we have to do something.
Yes, sir. And don't be scared to do it.
And I wear mine all the time, and people look at me no matter where I go, and they want to know who it is, and they ask me about it. Who is this? Where y'all at? And I tell them we're everywhere.
That's right.
We're everywhere. We don't always wear uniforms. We're everywhere. But we know who we are. We're the kings and queens of Africa. We're the we are. And all those who feel like they are. So that's why my kings and queens. And then we collaborate. It ain't my way. We need leaders. We need every group, every country of blacks to be a part, to sit at the round table. We need the Jamaicans sitting at the round table. We need the Haitians sitting at the round table. We need the Americans sitting at the round table. We need the Africans sitting at the round table. And when I say the Africans, that means every nation in Africa. Well, every country. I'm sorry. Forgive me for that. Every tribe. They must have a leader at that round table. Because if they don't have a leader at that round table, you don't know if they're going to get the right judgment.
You got that right.
But if there is a male and a female, and I'm going to say that again, if there is a female and a male there representing each tribe, each country, each community, you can't help but get equal. Because I'm not gonna let you get no more than mine's get. Why should you get more than mine's get?
That's why everybody's supposed to get everything equal right across the board.
That's why you got to have equal leaders, male and female.
That's right.
Side by side. Face to face. They have to sit at the round table together. But we ain't even began to sit. We ain't even began to build a round table yet.
You're right.
The first supper should tell you what the round table's supposed to be. The first supper had all his disciples sitting at the round table. All his leaders.
Yeah.
Where we at? We ain't all sitting at the same round table.
Hey, my brother, I got my sister. She calls from New York.
Hey,
we're gonna pick this back up tomorrow.
Yes, bro, I like that. Maybe we could get some others to join in and get online and see what they got to say about it.
That's right. We need to put together a Zoom. I hit you back tomorrow.
All right, sound like a winner. One love, my brother.
All right, one love. Peace, love.
Peace out.